All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to class today. Please just give me like 2 minutes or a minute. We'll start by 12:05. Just give me a minute and I will start by 12:05. Thank you. All right, welcome to class again. And we're starting up, continue from where we stopped yesterday. Please don't mind my voice in case you hear me trying to clear my throat. I have a bit of sore throat, sort of, so please pardon me, okay? So I'm going to try to speak as clearly as possible. So please confirm if you can hear me clearly. At least if you can hear, if the volume is okay, please confirm for me. What you need to do is to just type yes in the chat window for me. Just type yes in the chat window for me. So I'll know if my volume is fine, if it's okay. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks a lot. So I believe it's the same for every other person. Okay, so today we'll continue from where we stopped yesterday. I hope you have your Visual Studio Code opened, and mine is open here. I hope you have yours opened as well. Allow me to share my screen so that we get into coding again. Okay. All right, so this was where we stopped yesterday. We did some things about styling, and we were able to test some attributes. When it came to the style attribute, we were able to test some properties. Let me call it properties, like the color. We changed the font decoration. We changed the font weight, making it bolder and making it italics. Those are some of the things we did yesterday. And I think this was what we did yesterday. I hope we have downloaded the the files, and we have it on our systems so that we can then be practicing with it. So today is day 3. I've already created a file here, which I'll say I'll continue to use for today's class. So let's go through our slides for now. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so here we have the lang attributes. The lang attribute. Lang attribute is usually used to depict or declare the language for the web page. It's optional. It's not like it's compulsory. It's optional. Like you see on most of the pages we've created, we didn't add this lang attribute, but it's good that we know about it, because when you start developing, standard websites or start writing standard programs that are used for businesses, you may need to start adding such attributes like the lang attributes, okay? So this is meant to assist search engines and browsers. Okay, that's the purpose of the lang attributes. and it's meant to assist search engines probably to find your page, and also for browsers to be able to depict what language your website is in. If it is in English, yeah. So we can see the lang attributes here inside this HTML tag. Okay, you can see it here, equals to EN. EN here means English. EN means English. All right, EN means English. And we'll still see that we can also specify the country of the language or something like that. Anyway, so the lang attributes, country codes can also be added to lang attributes, okay, to the language code. And as you can see down here, we can see EN-US, which means the website is in US English, is in English US. Okay, so this is the way they depict it. There's a reference file that I'll provide for us maybe during the course of this program, where you will see other things, other countries, how you specify them, and other language, how you specify them as well. Somebody says no audio. Can we hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me, please. If you can hear me, just type yes in the chat window. Okay, the Shine, I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. The Shine, please, you can log out and log back in. This may be as a result of your phone. Please log out and log back in. Okay, thank you guys. I see that everybody can hear me. So the Shine, please try log out and then log back in again. Then you should be fine. All right, so let's proceed. So I have said that the lang attribute is used to depict the language and the country, you know, of your websites. Probably if your website is written in English US language, then you can specify that in the lang attribute. So again, it helps your web page, I mean, your browser to know that, okay, this website is in so-so language, in from so-so country, okay? And then search engines can also use that information to be able to locate your website. Maybe somebody is searching for something, okay? So your website also comes up as one of the results, all right? So how you specify it is what we've seen here. Lang equals to, in quotation, EN-US, US in capital letters. Okay, so let's proceed. Again, if you have questions, please put it in the chat window so that when I go through the chat, I can see your question. So we proceed. So we have the title attributes, which we have seen a couple of times. So, but then we can also add title attributes to other tags or elements. Like this that we are seeing here in this example, we have the paragraph elements, but as a title, okay? But as a title, and it is used to give what? Extra information, you know, about an element, used to provide extra information to whoever that is visiting your website. So your title attribute can be used to give extra information or more information about that particular element, and the person who is viewing your website will begin to have more information about it. The value of the title attributes will display as a tooltip when you mouse over the element. Now, some of us may not understand what they call tooltip. Just watch, you can see my mouse, right? So I'm going to place my mouse somewhere and something will appear. So let's say I place it, let me see which one has tooltip. Yeah, aha. You can see my name and my email address there. That appearance of my name and email address when I place the mouse on my name here is what they call tooltip. Okay, you can see it there. That's what they call tooltip. So that is the way your title attribute works. That's the way it works. So we are going to test this now and see how it really appears so that we get to understand it properly. So of course, I have my test file already opened. So I'm going to take the pen to type my HTML again, HTML structure again. So you can watch me as I do this. we have the head tag. I don't want to put anything inside the head tag. I can go on like that. So we have the body tag as well, which is very important. Otherwise, nothing will show up. And then the P tag, which is our paragraph. All right. So I could say, let's just say, sorry, let me just check what they wrote there. Okay, this is a paragraph. So let's just say I am a paragraph. Okay, so we want to add the title attribute here. You type title equal to, then you can say this is a tool tip, full stop. So we're supposed to see that tooltip. You can see that it appeared. Look on this side where I'm doing my preview here. When I place the mouse on the paragraph text here, the tooltip will appear. But I want to run this code in the browser so that we see how it actually looks like. So this is my paragraph here. I hope we can see it. So when I place my mouse on it, that information, this is a tooltip, will appear, will pop up. You can see that. So your title attribute is used to give more information, about a particular element. Whatever element you add it to, you are using it to provide more information. I hope we understand what the title attribute does. If it's a question, please go ahead and ask your question so that I can answer. So I don't think there's a question at this stage. So this is tooltip. So in case I ask you, what attribute do you use to create a tooltip? You already know that the attribute is called the title attribute. And what it does is to give extra information or more information about an element, about an element. Okay. So let's move on. So here we suggest that you use lowercase, just like we suggested with elements. We also suggest that you use lowercase for your attributes as well. If you use uppercase, I'm not sure about that, but using lower cases for those things is far better. Your code will look much better and much more professional. Okay, the HTML standard does not require lowercase attribute names. The title attribute and all other attributes can be written with uppercase or lowercase, like the title or title. However, we recommend lowercase attributes in HTML. Okay, then we suggest always quote your attribute values. The element standard does not require quotes around attributes, around the attribute value. However, we recommend that you get into the habit of putting your attribute values in quotations, because some attribute values may require space. If you don't put them in quotation, then you run into errors. May require space. If you don't put them in quotation, you may run into errors, like something we are going to see very soon. So what they are showing us here is if you write your code like this, you can see that the attribute values of this href is in quotation. That's the best way to write it. That's a good way to write your attribute values. If you put it this way, it's not as if it won't run, but you may run into problems. So you need to get into the habit of adding that quotation to your attributes. Very important. Get into the habit of adding quotation to your attributes. So on this next scene, we can see a problem here. Look at the title here. The title is supposed to be about W3 schools. But then if you don't put this in quotation, what we will have is an error, because the W3 schools here, which is now in red, will be seen as if it's another attribute. To be seen as if it's another attribute. But if you have put this in quotation, these two words, about and W3 schools, in quotation, your code will run properly. I hope we understand. So get into the habit of putting the values of your attributes in quotes, in quotes. Don't do it without quotes. Get into that habit. It will really help your code run without errors. All right. So let's move on. So single or double quotes. Double quotes around attribute values are the most common in HTML, but single quote can also be used in some situations when attribute value itself contains double quotes. It's necessary to use single quotes. Let me explain this for us very well. We all know what double quotes and single quotes are. Okay, one is quotation, and then the other one stands as an apostrophe. And here, if we look at this P tag here, we can see title equal to John Shotgun Nelson. The person wants this shotgun to be quoted when the tooltip appears. It wants to be quoted. So what the person did is to put the shotgun in double quotes. However, John, before John is single quotes, and after Nelson is single quotes, and vice versa here. So this is how you mix when you have to use double quotes and single quotes at the same time. This is how you mix it. So take, for example, if you're going to put an apostrophe S by this shotgun, you know that the quotations that we enclose those words has to be double quotes. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but let's get into quotes and let's see what I'm talking about. So let's take, for example, this tooltip. What I want to write is this is or let me say Ken's tool tip. So you can see that I have a single quote here, which is fine. If I had done double quotes here, there will be a problem. Okay, there will be a problem. So I'll use a single quote here. All right. So let's say this Ken, I want to, okay, let me put another word here that says, what's that word now? Let me use Jackpot, and I want Jackpot to be in quotations. Okay. So you can see that because I started this with double quotes here, and I want this Jackpot to be in double quotation, there's a problem already. Tooltip is already showing red here. There's a problem somewhere. So if I change this now to single quotes, and I change this last one also to single quotes, I put space here. Hold on, it's a problem. Yeah. So you can see that this quotation has, you need to be careful how you use them. If I put a single quote here, it gives me a problem. Okay. This is because I have a single quote right here in front. So you need to know how you can mismatch your single quote and your double quotes. Okay, so while you are writing your tooltip, be careful so that you don't mix up things with the double quotes and single quotes that you may require to use. Okay, so that's what we're talking about there. As you practice, as you go on, you begin to understand how to properly use them. I usually, if I'm not going to have any quotation in the text, okay, in the value, I just go ahead and use double quotes usually. That's the default even when you're writing your HTML code. How we understand? Any question from anybody? Any question? Okay, so let's move on. So this is a summary of this chapter 5 that we have just seen. This is a summary of it, of the chapter 5 that we have just seen. So we have seen that HTML elements can have attributes. We've seen that the href attributes of the anchor tag specifies the URL of a page that the link goes to. The source attributes of image tag specifies the path to the image, okay, to be displayed. The weight and height attributes of image provides what? The size information for that image. The alt attribute of the image provides an alternate text for an image that is probably not, that the browser is probably not able to display. The style attribute is also used to add styles to an element such as color, font size, and more. It's supposed to be font size and more. The lang attribute declares the language of the web page. All right, and the title attribute defines extra information that you may want to still provide for or to your user or to the visitor that is visiting your page. Okay, just give me a second. We are moving to chapter 6 now. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So we are now going to be looking at HTML headings. Remember, I told us that most of these elements, we'll be considering them one by one. We'll be considering them one by one. So we are taking the headings first, okay? And then we'll move on from there to others. So HTML headings is what we're looking at now. I hope nobody have any questions regarding what we've done so far. I hope no questions. Can you guys hear me clearly, please? I don't know if can you guys hear me clearly, please? Can you confirm if you can hear me clearly? Just type yes in the chat window. Okay. All right, so let me continue. Okay, thank you for confirming that. All right, thank you very much. So let's go ahead with our headings. Remember, we've looked at headings before now. We've looked at our, what's it called now? Okay, we've looked at H1, and I also showed us H2, H3, 4, 5, and 6, what they look like. And that's exactly what we are seeing here right now. So headings are titles or subtitles that you want to display on your web page, which means they can be used as titles or subtitles, okay, of things you want to display, depending on what you want to display on the page. All right, so marvelous. Okay, Marvelous sent me a message here. Yesterday's video has been uploaded on the classroom. Please go to the classroom portal and check it there. You will see yesterday's video. It's right there. Okay. All right, so let's continue. So HTML headings are defined with the H1 to H6 tags. They are defined with H1 to H6 tags. Franklin, I can see you're raising your hand. Do you want to say something? Okay. Franklin, do you want to say something? And
yes,
please, can
you ask a question?
Okay, Franklin, can you please ensure that you change your name to your full name after you ask your question?
Okay,
so
I'm sorry. Please, this stuff we are using now, is it the visual coding that we downloaded, or this another one?
The one I'm using to code?
Yeah, it's like what I'm seeing on my screen now.
No, this is PowerPoint slide though. This is a PowerPoint slide that I'm displaying right now.
Okay. So let me change my name.
Slide. Okay, please go ahead and change your name. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So let's continue. So your heading tags, your HTML heading tags is from H1 to H6. And I told us also that the lower the number, the bigger the text will be. So H1 is the biggest or the largest, H2 followed by H2, H3, H4, H5, and then H6. And all of them are usually bold. So H1 defines the most important headings. H6 defines the least important headings. And browsers can automatically add some white space or margin before and after your heading, and that is true. Some browsers will add some white space. What we mean by white space is extra space before and after your headings, okay? we have done some coding with respect to headings yesterday. So what we are going to do now, for the sake of others, we want to write this code that we are seeing on the screen. So I'm going to be writing it. As I'm writing it, you can also write yours as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another file here under Day3. I right click on Day3 and I say new file. Then I'll name it headings.html. Press enter. So this opens for me. So for us to be fast, I'm going to just copy this code here. So I have my structure already here and I paste it here. Okay, I'll take out my paragraph text here. So what we'll be typing now is H1. So you can type along heading. So this will be heading 1. So when you type that, you can go ahead and copy and paste it to save your time. So that's what I'm going to do. Paste, 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 paste until it is 6 of them. So what I'm going to do next is then change this to 2. Change this to 2. And change this to 2. Change this to 3. Make this 3. And also make this 3. Change this to 4. Make this 4. Make this 4. I'll change this to 5. Make this 5. Make this 5. If you have done yours, just type yes in the chat window. This will be 6. And then 6 and 6. So as we can see here, we can see that heading 1 is the largest, heading 2 followed by heading 2, followed by heading 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's what we are saying, that heading 1 is used for the most important information that you want your user to see. And heading 6 is used for the least important information that you want your visitors to see. So quickly do this now, because I really want us to be hands-on. I don't just want to be talking, and then we are not doing anything. So quickly do this now, and then let me know in the chat window if you have done yours. I think, so let's go on. Oh, yeah. Let me start saying yes here. So I'm giving us a few minutes to quickly type this out and see how it looks like from your own end. You can run it in the browser to see how it will look like. And choose Chrome. You can see it here, okay? I'll close this now. So can we repeat? Yeah, you can, this, no, there's no heading 7. Sorry, there's no heading 7. It's just heading 6, H to 6. You can, if you want to put any other heading, it has to be between 1 and 6, okay? So whichever one you want to use on your page, you can go ahead and use on your page, okay? You can go ahead and use on your page. So like somebody asked last time, that must all of them be on a page? No. So maybe on your page, it is just H2 you want to use, heading 2, you use it to write whatever you want to write. A subheading, a heading, depending on how you want it to look like, will give you whichever one you want to use. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Well done to everyone who have done it. So we proceed now. So headings are important. Search engines use the headings to index the structure and content of your web page. What that means is that your search engine looks for these headings. For example, when somebody is searching for something online, maybe you are searching for how to make money in Nigeria. So, you know, if there's an article like that, that's probably going to be the title of the article. And of course, because you want to put it as an heading, I mean, the title of articles are headings of an article. So you'll be using your H1, H2, or H3 to do that. So that's what search engines like Google do look out for. first before they start going into the body of the article. They look for the headings first, the heading tag first, and that will help you to be found on Google faster. So whatever heading you want to create, make sure you use an heading tag to do it. It will help your search engine optimization. Don't worry about what that means if you don't know, but search engine optimization is talking about how to optimize your web page so that when people search for things that is relating to your web page online, your web page will come up maybe in the first 10 or on the first page of Google result at least. So users often skim a page by its headings. Yes, even when you are browsing a page on a website, it is the headings that actually stand out to you. And that's what you even use to, first of all, scroll through some articles to see what the articles actually contains. So it is important that you use headings to show a document structure or what is contained in the document. So H1 headings should be used for main headings, followed by H2 headings, and then less important headings, H3, okay? And so on like that. So use the HTML headings for headings only. Don't use it to make text big or bold. What we are saying here is that when you are writing your HTML code, maybe you want something to be bold. Excuse me. Maybe you want this text to be bold. Don't put this text in H1 or H2 or H3 or H6 elements, okay? Instead, ensure you style it like we did last night. Style it to become bold. Don't use your heading tags to do that. That won't help your writing design at all. It's going to disfigure the writing. I mean, what you are writing, okay? So that's very important. So let's move on. Any questions so far? Please, if we have questions, let's put it in the chat window or you raise your hand, then I will allow you to unmute yourself. Then you can go ahead and talk. Okay. So give me a minute, please. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let's proceed here. So bigger headings, each HTML headings has a default size, okay? However, you can specify the size for any headings with style attributes using the CSS font size property. Like we did yesterday for the paragraph tag, we can also do the same for our heading tag as well. So we are going to try to increase our H6 font size. That's what we're going to try to do now. And I'm going to whip up my Visual Studio Code. We're going to style this H6 to be big again. So style equal to font size. Font size. Uh-oh, what am I doing? To font size, colon. So let's say I want it to be 50 points. Okay, where is it? It's gone. Let's see where you are. Where's my H6? So let me run this first to see what I have in the browser. Run. Voila. So you can see the H6 here below. And like we said before, browsers do add what we call white space. The reason is all the way down here is the white space that is added by the browser. Okay, so you can see that now our H6 is bigger than our H1. How did we achieve that? We achieved it by styling the H6 and giving it a font size of what? 50 points. Let me reduce this to 20. So right now we can see that H6 and the heading 1 are both like the same size. They are both like the same size. So that is something that you need to, keep in mind. Okay, keep that in mind and don't forget it. So let's go back to any question, please, so that we can answer questions in case you don't understand. So that shows you the power of style attributes. Style attribute. It also tells you how much important CSS is when it comes to HTML or web design. So by the time we get to CSS, during the course of this program, we'll begin to know more about CSS, how to use it, and so many other things that it can do for us. Chapter 7, now we are dealing with HTML paragraph. HTML paragraph. Just a second, let me take a sip of water. All right, welcome back. So here now we are going to be looking at paragraphs. We are finished looking at headings. We now want to look at paragraphs. Do I have a question? Trying to enable. But someone should help Irechuko. I don't think I want to help him because Irechuko has failed to be in class the time he was supposed to be in class. Okay, let me help him. So I'm going to show you how to enable. Have you installed it? If you have installed it, what you need to do, let me close mine first. Have you installed it? Irechuko, have you installed it? So I'm going to close this first. If you have installed it, you will have this icon here. So you have this icon here, and the tooltip says open preview to the site. So when you click on the icon, then it opens it like this for you. You'll be able to see the preview. I hope that works for you. If it doesn't, you're on your own, Irechuku. I know you. Okay, so let's get back to our slide. So we kick off now with the HTML paragraph. So a paragraph always starts with a new line and is usually a block of text. Paragraphs always start with a new line and they are usually a block of text. I'm going to show us what that means now with this code. So please pay attention. What do we mean by paragraph starts with a new line? And I mean, what does that really mean? What it means is that each paragraph, we always start on a new line. So I'm going to create a new file again, paragraph. I just call it para.html. Now save that. So again, I hope I still have, I've done jazz. I think I need to close some files. Just let me close some of these things. I've opened too many of them. Let me close this. So I open my para file, preview. Okay. Sorry. So let's write our HTML structure again. HTML head tag. And then I have body. So in my body, I have a paragraph tag or element. And I say this is a paragraph. Okay. And I go to the next and I say again, this is another paragraph. All right. So as you can see, each of the paragraph is starting on a new line here. You can see it. This is one. This is the second one. How we can see it. But see what happens now if I have this removed. Did you see that? Even if I go to the next line, it will still remain in one line. Because as far as my HTML or my browser is concerned, this is a paragraph starting from here and ending here. It is a paragraph. Do we understand what I just did? I hope we understand what I just did here. If I return the closing tag here for the paragraph, and I return the start tag here for the paragraph, what have I done? This. So you can see that everything returned back to their respective lines. This is different from line break that we did yesterday. It's very different. Now, take notes. Just pay attention now so that you know the difference between line break and paragraph. Take note of this space, the space between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. Take note of the space in between them. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this out and also take this out. All right. And I'll now put my break element here. Can you see that the space here is smaller than when it was in paragraph? Let me duplicate this so that we can see it on top of each other. So I'll copy that and then I'll paste it here. So this one, I'm going to change. This one, I'm going to do this. Okay. So now we can see the difference between the line break element, which is BR, and when you have just paragraphs. The paragraphs, we always have more space in between. For your line break, the space will be smaller. So please take note of that when you are creating your web page, or when you're creating your page, or when you're writing an article in your HTML. Take note of that. It's very important that you have that at the back of your mind. Okay. Any question? No question. Get back to our slides. So the HTML element defines a paragraph. A paragraph always starts on a new line, and browsers automatically add some white space that's a margin before and after the paragraph. And that's what we have seen here. That's why the BR1 that doesn't have white space, the text are closer. I mean, the lines are closer to each other. But for paragraph, because there's usually that white space that the browser will add by itself, you will have this more space in between the lines. Does that make sense? Okay, so that is that. Go to the next one, HTML display. You cannot be sure how HTML will be displayed or how your code will be displayed. Now, large or small screen and resized window will create different results. With HTML, you cannot change the display by adding extra spaces or extra lines in your HTML code. The browser will automatically remove any extra space and lines when the page is displayed. Okay, when the page is displayed. So I want to get some text from online so that we can use it to depict what we want. So I'm going to go to a website called, I'm going to search for something called Lorem Ipsum. So when you are writing designing a website and you want some text to use, you don't have anybody to write the article for you yet, but you just want to design the website and have some text to be used on that website. You can come to this website, Lorem Ipsum, and just generate text and copy and paste somewhere. So this is a particular text. It doesn't mean anything. So I'll just copy it and then I'll take it into my code because I want to do something like this for us to see. And we'll see how different displays affect your code or your website. Okay. So I'm going to, let me create another page. So let me see if I can copy this and paste it again. Does it work? Yeah, so it gives me a copy. So this one I'm going to rename to display. I'm giving it the names of those chapters or the headings so that we know what they are meant for. So I'm going to take all this out. I think I can close this page. Save. Can close the heading page as well. Save. So I'm here. Okay. So I create my paragraph element and I'll paste my lorem ipsum. Where is it? I thought I copied it. Let me open Notepad. Oh, this is not the one I want to open. This is another text editor anyway. You may want to try it, but it's not as intelligent as VS Code. Just want to be sure. Okay, that thing didn't copy. So if I say copy, just copy my thing manually. Copy. I can come here straight up, paste it. All right. So as you can see, it's a very long text. I've written everything on one line. Please just follow me. We need to understand what display is. But this time around, I'm going to run it in the browser for us. Now we can see this text, all this text now. If I increase this window, the browser, you will see that it adjusted the text. If I reduce it, the text is adjusted. If I reduce it further, text will be adjusting, and it's now giving me multiple lines. That's how display can affect your page. And that's what we are trying to explain in this slide here. Okay. You don't know how large or small the window will be. You don't really know, but it just creates your stuff like that. So when we get to CSS, we'll talk about something called responsive websites. Responsive websites. Responsive websites are websites that easily adjust themselves depending on and they adjust the way they display depending on the device you are viewing them from. So let's take, for example, just for us to understand what responsive website is. Let me enlarge this. Why is this thing coming up now? Please go away. So let's say I come to mail.com. I come to mail.com. Please go to. So this is mail.com. And here we can see these menus or these tabs: email, features, cloud, security, support, and blog. So what I want to do now, I want to reduce the size of this screen, this display. Now you can see that those things are like, they have disappeared. Those tabs, they've disappeared because I reduced the size. This website you're looking at is a responsive website. So it responds to the size of the display or the size of the device that is displaying on. Where did those things go to? They are here. Some of them are here. You can find them here. These are the menus we have, including the sub menus. So that's an example of responsive website. If I reduce it further, you see that this one shifted by itself. Any question? Victor, you can type your question if you have any question, please. Okay. So that's what responsive websites are. Okay. So let's go on. Horizontal rule. I love this tag. I love it so much because I use it a lot when I'm trying to create a web page. So the HR tag defines the the thematic break in the HTML page and is most often displayed as an horizontal rule or horizontal line. The HR element is used to separate content or define a change in an HTML page. The HR element also is an empty tag. Is an empty tag. Can I use Sublime Text 3? Okay, yes, you can. It's also a text editor. You can if you want. You can use Sublime Text 3. You can use Atom. I wanted to use Atom with us before, but because Atom has been discontinued, the moment Microsoft bought GitHub, so Visual Studio Code replaced Atom on GitHub, but it's still downloadable if you want to. You can use any text editor you like that works with you. It's open, all right? You can even use PyCharm if you want. Okay, so let's see HR tag in action. I'm going to duplicate this page again. File, copy. And I'm going to paste it here. So I'm going to rename this to HR. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to put HR in the middle of some, okay, let me not do that. Let me just do something simple for us. So this is a paragraph text. Let me say this is a paragraph again. Okay. So I can copy this and then paste another paragraph. However, I want an heading. So I can say let me use H2 and say this is my heading. Okay. So after my heading, I want to add a rule, an horizontal rule. So I'll put HR there. Can you see the horizontal rule? Can you see the line? That is your HR tag. That's what it does. So you put a line. So this is already looking like a well-constructed page. Okay, there's the heading, then there's a line in between them there. I'm going to run this in the browser. So see what it looks like. You can see it here now. This is my heading, then the HR rule is there and followed. So that is HR rule, HR tag, sorry. So it's an horizontal rule, like a ruler, like a line that appears on your page, like that. Okay, so HTML line break, we've seen this in action over and over again, so I'm not going to really dwell on it. You can have more than one, like we have in this particular example. I want to encourage you, when you get the slides, please go through it again and practice what we have there. That's the way you can learn faster in this course. That's the way you can learn faster. So your HTML BR element defines a line break. Use BR if you want a line break or a new line without starting a new paragraph. That's what you can use it for. Of course, a BR or a line break tag is an empty tag, which means it has no end tag. It has no end tag. So I'm not going to dwell much on this. I'm just going to move on. We've seen that in action, different examples that we've given. The poem problem. The poem problem will display on a single line. I mean, this poem will display on a single line. I'm going to give us a few minutes to just type exactly what you have on the screen now on your own Visual Studio Code, on your text editor. Type exactly what you see here. And then we will solve the problem. We'll solve the problem. So just quickly type that out, and I'll be right back in 2 minutes. Okay, when you're done with yours, please type in the chat window, type yes in the chat window so that I'll know how many of us are done. I just need about 2-3 people to be done. Then I'll proceed. All right, so I believe a number of us are done already. And okay, so let's proceed. And what are we seeing? So I'm just going to try to mimic something here. What file is this? HR. Okay. So I'm just going to do something like this in my own Visual Studio Code for us. So again, I'm going to copy this file and then paste it here. So I'll rename it to poem. Okay, so what we have, take this out. Take all this out as well. So what we have is something like this. So don't worry about my own text being different from yours. We are going to make the same thing. So as you can see here, everything we display on the same line, the same line. Why? Because we have just one paragraph, P. We have just one paragraph, and that's the problem that they are trying to show us here. If you type like this, thinking it should be on different lines, it is not going to be on different lines. As far as your browser is concerned, your browser is only seeing one paragraph. It's not seeing more than one paragraph, okay? So if you want it to display on different lines, you can then add the closing tag for this paragraph, add a start and closing tag for this, start and closing tag for this, and then add a start tag for this. But for me, if I'm writing a poem, I don't think I want to put each line of the poem on a paragraph, on one paragraph each. What I'm going to be using here is going to be my BR tag. So that's what I'm going to use to correct this right here. You can do the same at your hand. There's no need here because last paragraph. You can do the same at your hand and we then display like this. So just add BR to the end of the first, second, and third line. There's no need to add it to the last line. So that will correct that to now, appear properly on your web page. Okay. Let's go on. So in case I ask you, tell me write a code or explain to me what poem problem is. This is what I expect you to explain to me. Or write a code showing the poem problem, and I'll write another code to correct the poem problem. This is what I expect from you. So this is the solution here. Okay, what they have done here. What we have done here also is another way of correcting that. So instead of having BR on each of the lines, what we have done here is to use the pre-element, which means pre-formatted text. So what pre-elements would do, the way your text appears is exactly the way it will show up on the browser. So if I close all this up, And I turn this to pre-element. So you can see the way it looks like here. There are spaces here, and that's the way it will appear here. I personally do not use pre to do anything when I'm coding, because I want to be in control of how my stuff will appear. Okay. I want to be in control. So I'd rather add the BR tag to each of those lines, which will give me what I want. So if I take this up, so it will just do it the way it's appearing in the code, like that. So if I clean this, you can see what's happening. You can see what is happening. So personally, I don't use pre in my code. I just manipulate my thing myself with my BR tag or any other tag that I may want to use. Okay, but it's left for you, whichever one you want to do. And as you can see also, the file, the font and style has changed. But let's run this and see what it will look like in the browser. So you can see the way they look like here. All right, do you have any question? You don't know how to run in Visual Studio Code. If you want to run your code in Visual Studio Code, this fourth icon here, select it. When you select it, it pops up with this, and then you can say run and debug, or there's a run command, run menu, or run tab at the top here. Select it, press start debugging, or you do run without debugging, or you press F5 on your keyboard, or Control plus F5. That will run your code for you. Okay. So we understand what this is. So the text inside the pre-element is displayed in a fixed width font, usually Korea, and it preserves both space and line breaks. The way you put it there, that's the way to show it to you. So HTML tags, references for chapter 7. Your P tag, which is paragraph tags, defines paragraph. HR defines a thematic change in the content. And then BR inserts a single line break, and pre defines a pre-formatted text. Any questions so far? We are moving to the next chapter, chapter 8. Any questions so far? No question. No question. So we are on chapter 8. HTML styles. Now our coding is beginning to get interesting. Now that we are looking at styles, this is where we write some of CSS code, little CSS code that we will have at the back of our head by the time we start learning CSS itself. So styles. HTML style attributes is used to add styles to an element such as color, font size, and more. So in this image, you can see I am red, I am blue, I am big. Those are achieved using style, your style attributes. All right. So setting the style of an HTML element can be done with the style attributes. The HTML style attribute has the following syntax: the tag name, followed by style, then followed by equal to, then the property column, then the value of that property. You then close it with a semicolon. This property and value are usually in double quotations. Okay, the property is a CSS property, which is this, and the value is a CSS value. In other words, what we are trying to say to you here is that this is a CSS syntax here: property, column, value, then you close it with, or you end it with the semicolon. Okay, we'll learn more about CSS in the CSS module sessions. Okay, we're going to learn more about CSS and see how we can manipulate things. Okay, so this is the syntax. You must know the syntax. When you put your tag name, maybe the tag name is P tag, okay, followed by style attributes. Then style attribute is equal to what? Property, maybe it's font, style or font size that you want. That's the property. Then colon, the value can be 10, 20, whatever you put there. Or the property is color, and then the value is blue. That's the way you put it there. And we've seen that in a couple of things that we have done. We did a lot of that yesterday as well when we're closing the class. All right. So that is style attribute for you. Then background color is what we are going to look at now. Now, I want to beg all of us, we need to pay attention here. I don't want you to be confused. If you have question, please just put it in the chat window. There's no rush. Don't be confused. We're going to be looking at some things here in this. When we get to color, we're gradually moving towards colors. And when we get there, we'll be seeing some things. But let's just proceed. Right now, we're looking at background color. For example, this is a page on a slide. The background color for this slide is white. How do you specify a background color for an element on your HTML page? Now, the CSS background color property defines the background color of an element. Okay, for example, let us set the background color of a page to powder blue. So let's go back to our code. So right here, I'm going to do this again. So there's a lot of files we are going to work with today. I don't want to mix them up so that by the time you guys are reviewing the files, when I upload them, you know which is which and what which is doing. I don't know if that's correct. Don't mind me. So background color. So we call this background HTML. So I'm still going to use this code to do what I want to do. So we said I want to make a background color for our body to be powder blue. So how do you do that? We add our style attribute to our body element, body tag, style, okay, equal to, then open double quotes. What we are looking for is background color. And we have the background color here. Okay, what's the value of our background color? We said we want it to be powder blue. So you can see my background color for my page just changed. So try it at your hand. Try it at your hand and change the background color to powder blue. This is what the code should look like. This first line of code, that's what you should be working on. So powder blue. If you've done yours, please put it in the chat window. Tell me yes, that you've done it. Yeah, Tosin, well done. Who else? Just add style equal to, open your quotation and then put the CSS code there. Sandra, well done. Who else? Let me just have one more person. Well done, Esther. Blessing. Okay. So I want to still play around the colors. You can change the color to something else at your hand. Falade, well done. So change the color to some other color at your hand. And I am going to change it to, let me see, sky blue. Is there a color like sky blue? Yeah. So let's make it sky blue. See, it's changing. So I want to change it to something darker. So let's say, let me put a funny color, brown. Voila. As you can see, that's how you change your background color for your page or for an element, okay? That's how you change the background color. So when you are less busy, you can play around it, try different colors, try different things, and see how they work. All right, so let's go back to our slides and let's proceed. CSS background color property defines the background color of an element. For example, let us set the background color for two different elements. Here, we're going to try for two different elements, okay? for the H1 elements and also for the P paragraph elements. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to take this out so that my body does not have brown. So let me change all this again. So still on background, we could come here to say H1. This is a heading. Okay. Then we come down paragraph and say this is a paragraph. Okay. So what we want to do now, we want to give them different background colors. Different background colors. So for the H1, follow me as I'm doing this. Style, very simple. Style equal to the CSS property we want to work with is called background color. So we look for background color, background dash color. So in your CSS property, the word is separated with an hyphen. So background color colon, maybe I want to make this one to be, I want to make the background color for my heading because it's big. Let me make it red so that people's attention is drawn there. So you can see that the entire heading line is having red background. So let's do for our paragraph now. Style. Oh, sorry, equal to background color again. And then I want another color. I can scroll through here. This is because I'm using Visual Studio Code. If you are using a normal text editor, you won't see all these suggestions. So let me give it dark orange. Voila, as you can see, it now have a dark orange background. That entire line of paragraph now has a dark orange background. Okay, so please do the same at your end and let me know when you are done doing that. I'm here. Okay, let's proceed. I can see that some of us have done it. Well done, Silas. Well done, Ewichuku. Well done, Naomi. Well done, Dada. Well done, Falade. Well done, every one of you. So this is getting more interesting. And we'll proceed to other things. Who else is done? Esther, well done. I've seen your name for the first time. You're my regular customer. I hope you joined the class early enough. Okay. Irechuku, we'll do your preview stuff at the end of the class. At the end of the class. All right then. So let's go back to our slides. text color. Now we have dealt with background color. We are now looking at text color. Text color talks about the color of our text, whether the color of the heading or the color of the paragraph. Text color. So go ahead and change, create a new file. Okay, I'm not going to code this one for you. So you create a new file and change the text color to what we have here on this page. Okay, the CSS property, color property defines the text color of an element. So do that very quickly and see what effects it will make. Create a new file, name it text color. And I'll be waiting for as many of us that will be done. Marvelous. Sorry, you need to download the video and then watch it for you to understand those two slides you're talking about. I think you're talking about background color. It's all simple. It's still the same thing we are doing with this text color. Okay, still the same thing. The style, color. So instead of color, we have background color, and then we set whatever color we want it to be. I want to be saying done, 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 done. Are we sure we are coding? Please code, 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 code. I want to be saying done, done, done. All right, well done, guys. You can quickly then move on to do for font family as well. The same text you have. Don't clean the color. Just after the first semicolon, you can just add font family, colon, then Vedana to change the font style. Do it for both the H1 and the P in the paragraph text. So what I'm saying is that this particular code below, also write it. You can copy the one you've already written. Instead of adding them together, you can copy it and then paste below your text. Okay, so let's quickly do that. Okay, we are coding, write the code, keep writing the code. Well done, Yurichuku. Yurichuku is done. Keep writing the code for font family. And you see the changes that we have. So invariably, you're already writing CSS code already, but it's just the inline CSS code that we're writing. Well done, Tosin. Well done, Dada. Well done, Razak. Okay, I have Franklin raising a hand. It appears you want to ask a question. So I'm going to ask you to unmute. So you can go ahead and ask your question, Franklin.
Okay, sorry, please. I want to ask this text color and this fonts. Can you combine it together? Or when you're using text color, you don't need to use fonts.
You can combine your styles together if you want to. So that's what I'm going to do for us. I'm going to show us that now.
Okay,
You can combine it together if you want. If you're applying it on the same text, you can combine it together. And I'm going to show us how that is done now. Thank you, Franklin.
No problem.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to show us something now. So I'm going to use, I'm going to copy all this. Copy, 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 copy. Copy, and I'm going to paste. And I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this to, let me just call it color. So I'm going to do a couple of things in there. So I have my, I'll take out all this background color stuff. I don't want this. Okay, so this is what we have. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to show you how to combine those things together. So I have my style attributes. And the first one was color. Colon. Maybe I want the H1 to be maybe red. I put it as red. We also set the P tag style. equal to text color, right? Text color. That's a text color. Color. What do I have there? Font family, rather. I'll still do this as color first. And I use this, say, blue. All right. So this is what we've done first, showing what we have in this first code. All right. So I want to combine both of them together. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to then say font family. I'm going to continue typing here, font family. Okay. And I'm going to type in Verdana. I'll choose this now. Now, let me explain why this text editor I've decided to add more than one font for me. What it means is different systems, different computers all around the world have different kind of fonts available on the system. There are some font that comes with the operating system, while some does not. So for example, the browser will check the system. If the system has Verdana font installed on it, if you can't find Verdana font, it will look for Geneva font. If you can't find Geneva font, it will look for Tahoma. If you can't find Tahoma, it will look for sans serif. If you can't find sans serif, I guess it will just use whatever it likes to use at that point in time. You understand? So that's why you have them in comma. In other words, you can create options for font family, putting them in, separating them by commas. But I'm going to clean this off and just leave it at Verdana, telling the browser that the only font I want here is Verdana font. Okay. Same applies here. I'll just simply copy this code and I'll paste it here. All right. So my heading and my paragraph now has the same font, but different colors. So these are you combine your styles, different properties for the same text, the same, for the same element. If the element, if it's different element, then you have to specify their own styles, properties separately on different lines. I hope that makes sense to us. Okay, well done, James. I hope that makes sense to us. Let's get back to our slide. Any question, please type it in the chat window. Okay. Text size, font size, okay? Those are also, I'm going to ask you to try this on your own. It's the same thing, we are still dealing with styles. So you can change the font size like we've seen previously that I've done during the course of this class. You can change it. Somebody asked for text alignment yesterday. This is how you do text alignment. You align the text using the text align property. 1 minute, please. Okay, so when you do text align, you can align your text either center, left, right, or justified, as the case may be. But I want to try this text align and this text font together now. So let's just pay attention right here. So I'm going to be creating a new file. I'm in copying and pasting for a new file, rename it to align. Right. And I'm going to take all these ones out. I'm going to look for my Lorem Ipsum again. Did I paste it here? Nope. So Lorem Ipsum generator. Just want to show us something about text alignment. So I'm going to copy all this. And I can't minimize this now. I'll go to my notepad. paste it in there. Okay, so I'll copy half of it. Let me say I copy from here. And I put my paragraph here and I paste it in here. All right. Let me leave that there like that. Can we do the same thing, Seth? And I paste it here. So I have two paragraphs. All right. As you can see on this preview, we'll say by default, it is left aligned. It is aligned to the left. But what I want to do, I'm going to align both of them differently right now. So I'll put my style equal to text align. That's the property, colon. Maybe I want it to be centralized. The first one, let's make it center. You can see that it's changed here. It has been centralized. And then the last one, style. Style equal to text align. Text align. And I want to align it to the right. Voila. You can see it has been aligned to the right. So that is text alignment. As the case may be, use whichever one that you want, that satisfies the purpose for you when you are designing your own page, web page. Okay. So, of course, font size, I've done that before, we've seen it. You can try it on your own after the class. So the summary for this chapter, we've looked at style attribute for styling HTML elements, which you've seen in different ways: background color, font family, font size, text align. This is not all. There are more. By the time we start CSS class, you will see a whole lot of them, a whole lot of properties, CSS properties that you can use in your HTML documents. So any questions so far? This class is being recorded. So if there are things that you still want to redo or recap, please can go to the recordings and replay that. Chapter 9, text formatting. Text formatting. Text formatting. Okay, so HTML contains several elements for defining text with special meaning. So here we can see this text is bold, this text is italicized, italics, there's subscript, there's superscript. How can we do that in HTML? Is what we are still going to look at now. Now, formatting elements were designed to display special types of text. B tag is for bold, to bold a text. Strong is to specify that the text is important. Italics, that's I tag, to italicize your text. EM tag, that's M tag, that's what I call it, M tag. It places emphasis on the text. Mark is to mark a text. Small makes text smaller. I mean, it's a smaller text. Del is to deleted text. Inserted in INS is insert text. Sub for subscript and sup for superscript. All right. So we continue. So these are the things we'll be looking at to by little. So the HTML B tag and strong tag elements. Okay. Now the B tag element, it defines a bold text without any extra importance, while the strong tag attaches importance to the text. Okay. So I'm going to open for us to see what it looks like. I'm going to open a new file, copy my file again. Now paste it, talking about formatting, rename. formatting. All right, so I'll take this all out. So we want to check what, okay, is there a question here? So is it possible for you to post yesterday's and today's class videos on YouTube? The one on the classroom is not comfortable for me. Okay, no problem, marvelous. I'll see what I can do. Okay, so our paragraph text is here. This is bold. Sorry, it's supposed to be B, not P. So you can see the text is bold. The other one is strong. So let's use strong, and then we see their difference, if there is any. This is important. What's the difference? Any difference? Let's put a BR tag here. You're going to put it twice. What is the difference here? Any difference? Can anybody see any difference? I'm trying to see the difference. I'm trying to see the difference. So it appears there's no difference. Abi? It appears there's no difference. So, but I usually use the B tag most times. And the strong tag also is there. You can use it if you want. All right. But the idea is to say when you use the strong tag, it's supposed to mean that the thing is of importance. But let's try and see if our browser shows us anything different. If our browser shows anything different. Oh, same thing. All right, so let's move on to other elements or tags. So we have the I. The I is to italicize, like what you are seeing here. This is an italicized or italicized or italicized, element or paragraph. Okay. So I'm going to be combining all these things together inside that one file. Okay. Inside that one file. So I don't have to create too many files for you. The aim is to create emphasis. So we're going to play around those two right now. So we copy these two again. And then we'll put it here with two of them. So I'm just going to put a P tag here to depict a paragraph. Okay. Okay, so we have the I, which is supposed to italicize this. You can see that the text is now in italics. Then we have this, we're supposed to make it EM, creating emphasis. Any difference? No difference. So there are two types of tags that does almost the same thing. Almost the same thing. But I would like to give us an assignment. I want to note the assignment down. So you'll be doing an assignment between today and tomorrow. Between today and tomorrow, doing an assignment. I'm trying to note it down on my phone. Just give me a minute. All right, let's proceed. I've noted down the assignment I want to give to you. So let's look at others. So we'll be looking at small and mark now. Okay, small and mark. So I'm going to copy again. So the small, we've said the small element defines a smaller text, okay? And the mark element defines text that should be marked or highlighted. So let's see that in action. Again, I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to just paste it here. Oh, this is supposed to come in here. Sorry, I'm trying to just format my stuff. So can change this to small. Change this to small. So what we have here is that the text is now smaller than normal. This is normal size. Okay, but now we can see that it is smaller here. All right, so that's the function of the small tag or small element, small tag, small element. And here I can just leave this as a paragraph text. And I'm going to put this is, let me just say this is very important here, okay? But I want this very to be in the mark, to be within the mark tag. So I'm going to say mark, and I'll bring my very, bringing it in between here. So, and as we can see, it has highlighted it for us. And that's what it's saying here, that the HTML mark element defines text that should be marked highlighted. All right, so that's what we've seen here. Okay, that's what we have seen here. Any question? No question. So let's proceed. We are almost getting to the end of today's class. Permit me to end today's class by 2 o'clock. I've had a very long day at this moment, at this stage of today. So please, all right. So let's get back to our slides. So the delete, okay, element defines the text that has been deleted from a document. Browsers will usually strike a line through the text. So that's what we are going to test now. And then we have the INS, which is an element, defines a text that has been inserted into a document. Browsers will usually underline the inserted text. So let us see these things in action. Again, I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to bring this into this paragraph here because I'm not using the small whatever again. All right. So we've said the small, what's this thing again? Delete. So we say, I think I have to use this paragraph thing. So let's say the delete element, or leave it as that. I can put my delete element here. Okay, and I'll move the text. Sorry, permit me to just format this the way I wanted it to be. I hope you understand what I'm doing. I'm just trying to format this for us. So if we look at here, IS is strike out or strike through. I mean, yeah, strike through. Okay, because we have embedded it inside the delete element, as we can see here. Okay, and we're now going to also put this, change it to INS. Don't worry, you have this file and then you can practice. And again, at the same time, once you have this slide, you can always practice. So you can see that very has been underlined, indicating that the text is inserted. Okay. So that's how those ones work. All right. Getting back to our slides. I hope I'm not too fast. Okay. Go back here. So we're going to try and finish chapter 9 today. So we'll continue chapter 10 tomorrow. So the sub-element defines subscript text. The subscript text appears half a character below the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font. Subscript text can be used for chemical formulas like H2O. All right, like H2O. So we're going to try this now. So I'm going to just copy this paragraph, paste it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this INS to sub. Voila. We can see very has been brought lower. So it's now a subscript. Okay, there's a question here. Mr. Paul, don't bother using it like that. HR is an empty tag. Okay, it's an empty tag. Don't use it like that. You should be trying to type less code than trying to type more code when you are trying to code. So just type HR and it'll be fine. If you use it like that, it will still work. However, HR is an empty tag. It doesn't actually have anything in it. So that is subscript for you. And the next one is going to be superscript. Superscript. So superscript is the opposite of subscript. So I'm going to copy this paragraph and then paste it here. And instead of sub, I make it soup. As you can see, very is now raised up, right? So let me do the H2O that they have, the chemical equation for H2O here. So we have H, then I'll open a sub, sub, and put 2 there. And then I'll go to the end and put O. I have successfully written the chemical equation for water, 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. So that is how your subscript and superscripts work. All right. Back to our slides. So these are the elements we've looked at in under text formatting. So you will have this slide in a few minutes from now. After this class, I'll post the slide. Please, 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 I want to beg us, always go through the slides. Forget the number that they are. The things on those slides are just not much. So you can finish the entire slides going one day. Please practice, 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 practice. Somebody called me today, and that was really an encouragement for me. She called me and she's telling me that she wants to go and buy a laptop because of this course. She's been using phone. She's not comfortable with it. So she found a reason to use a laptop, and she called me that she wants to go and buy a laptop, send me some configuration for my recommendation, which I did. So well done to that person. I'm not going to mention her name. Well done to you. Like I told you, I love that you decided to go and buy a laptop. So well done. Kudos to you. And I'm sure you're going to do well in this course. So that's the kind of passion I want to see in all of us. Push yourself. For you to succeed in whatever you do, you have to push yourself. You have to go the extra mile. All right. And one thing I want you to understand is this. The person that you are hearing talking to you did not go to any school to learn all these things. I didn't go to any school to learn it. I learned most of these things on my own. So if you have somebody that is tutoring you on this now, you should be glad, should be thanking God. At least you have somebody to ask questions. Me, I didn't have anybody to ask any question. I did a lot of try and errors while I was learning. And because I actually wanted to learn, which is kind of spirit I want in many of us. that decision to want to really learn it, and you will do well in it. So that's my encouragement for you. She's going to use money to buy these things. It's not like she's going to borrow it. She's going to use money to buy it. So you use your money to add value to yourself. So we will end the class here today. Tomorrow, by God's grace, we'll continue with quotation and citation elements. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for attending class today. And the assignment will be posted on the classroom. You will see it there as an assignment, as a task. Please don't forget, go and mark your register and ensure you mark your register. The assignment will be posted in the classroom and will be due before tomorrow morning, which means the assignment will be due today. By the end of today, you must submit it in the classroom. Okay? So thank you very much, everybody. Franklin, this is my Franklin there. Okay, Franklin, let me allow you to talk. All right, unmute yourself.
Sorry, good afternoon. I made a mistake in the attendance, please. I went to go and mark me instead of yes. Because I thought so for yesterday.
Okay, I'll correct it for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll correct it for you. Any other question from anybody before we close the class for today? Okay, guys, thank you for attending class today. I pray that all that you've learned will stick to your brain and you will understand it much better. Oh, Irechuku. Okay, Mr. Razak Balogun, I'll check and I'll see what I can do to that. Irechuku, you and your preview. Okay, let me quickly show you. I'm going to uninstall my own because of you and reinstall it back. So I will uninstall my own preview plugin. So extension, HTML preview, uninstall. Okay. So I will need to close my VS Code and reopen it again. Open it first to this space. Let me close it, close window, and I'll reload it again. Irechuku, I hope you are watching. So my VS Code is now opened. So as you can see, let me close all these other windows so that you can see what I'm saying properly. So as you can see here, we only have this split window here. This is not the one we are using, okay? We'll go to our extension window here, and then I type in HTML preview. This is also good for some of us that we don't have it on our system. So this is the one we are using, the one that has George Oliveira on it. Select it, and then you install it. Installation is just a few seconds and should be done in a GV. And that's it, it's done. I close this. Immediately that is installed, this icon appears. There's this new icon that is here now. Irechuku, can you see it? That's the icon that you use to preview. So when you click on the icon, your preview page then appears. That is it. And that brings us to the end of today's class. Again, thank you guys for attending class. Thank you for your encouragement, your words of encouragement. I appreciate it. God bless you all. All that you've learned, I pray that it will stick to you and you will understand them even as you practice on your own in Jesus' name. So God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.